Hey everybody, we're back. Longhorn Confidential time. If it's the off season and we're doing one of these, there's some big news to discuss. And Danny Davis, the American-Statesman. I'm joined by Cedric Golden. Kirk Bohl's not with us. He recently left us after 51 excellent years. Now he's a competitor at the Houston Chronicles, so we'll be having some fun competing with Kirk. But we're not here to talk about Kirk's departure. We're here to talk about another departure and a big arrival over at UFC Dish Falk Field. On Monday, Texas announced that David Pierce would not be returning as the Longhorns baseball coach after 8 seasons, 3 conference championships, 3 trips to Omaha. David's out. And in comes Jim Schlossnagle, who was
Whew.
announced Tuesday as a new coach. Obviously, he spent the last 3 years at Texas A&M, led the Aggies to the within one win of a national title. They were beaten by Tennessee 6-5 on Monday night to decide that title. So not a great 24 or 48 hours for the Aggies, but let's talk about Jim and his hire. Said you've obviously gotten to know him a few times. He's been a frequent guest in the On Second Thought podcast. What was just kind of your overall reaction to this coaching change and Jim's arrival here in Austin?
Daniel, it just feels like they're getting a band back together. Schlossnagle and Chris Del Conte made some magic at TCU, 4 of the 5 appearances in the College World Series. They were on campus together. And I think the timing of CDC leaving for the Texas job to replace Mike Perrin coincided with Perrin having hired David Pierce, who did a pretty good job. 3 trips to Omaha is 3 more than a lot of people have made, and he saw an opportunity to get his friend and trusted former coach in the fold. That people in College Station, Daniel, are not happy. I'm hearing words like Judas, Benedict Arnold, you know,
And that's nice stuff that
and that's the
the
nice stuff. Yeah, they've called him things that you wouldn't call a child of God. I know that, Daniel, and I just think that it was a first big blow in the resumption of what's going to be a blood feud. And Thanksgiving is weekend is going to be a football game, but there's going to be some. I'm surely there's going to be some Schloss signs in the in the Kyle Field stands, where there's going to be over 100,000 people. There's nothing like a blood feud, Daniel, and this is delicious. I love it.
Yeah, Schloss did share with us at the press conference today, which we'll talk about in a second, that Texas is hosting A&M during the 2025 season in their 3 game series, this first year back in the SEC. So he won't have to go back to Bluebell until 2026, but I don't think that's enough time that's passed. I think that's still going to be a pretty, maybe not Chris Beard going back to Texas Tech insane, but I'm sure time will not have healed all wounds when Texas goes there in 2 years. But this introductory press conference, we were there for about an hour today. There were a lot of dignitaries there. A lot of, I saw you talking to Drew Stubbs, a lot of former Texas players in the house, a lot of coaches in the Texas athletic department. Texas likes to, under Chris Del Conte, really likes to stress we're family, we're aligned. So that's why Rodney Terry was there. Steve Sarkisian snuck in and grabbed a seat. Vic Schaefer, got to talk to him for a little bit. Angela Kelly was there too. So a lot of Texas coaches, a lot of the Texas players were there too. They're supposed to meet with Schloss later today to kind of get a, I guess, grip on what their future at Texas is. So they were in attendance. So a lot of pomp, a lot of circumstance. Heard from Schloss, heard from CDC, heard from Jay Hartzell, Kevin Eltife. What was one thing you took out of today's press conference? I know you're going to write about some things he had to say about Augie. I don't know if that's what you want to talk about, but what
Oh
did you
yeah,
think of today's press conference?
uh, uh, the Augie Garrido story where he visited Augie in 2015, I believe, and out in Southern Cali, and talked ball and talked. Augie told him about what it meant to be the head coach at Texas, and he probably filed that away. Also, alignment. That was a word that was thrown around a lot, and he talked about knowing that there is an alignment at Texas. Hartzell, Del Conte, El Ty, those guys are aligned, and not particularly in that order. I got the order wrong. L Type is running this thing. We know that day. We know it. And I think that was important to him. I think the bag was not talked about. The bag is important. Could have got the bag at A&M, but he wanted to come work for CDC, who maybe is one of the top ADs, if not the best AD in all of the country. I called him a savage in my column because he went in there and he pickpocketed A&M. He picked that bone clean and got the man he wanted and did it so expertly and so slyly and so stealthily that you have to give him props for that. I don't blame the A&M people for being pissed off, Daniel. I don't at all. But you can't make a person want to be somewhere when he wants to be somewhere else, and that's just how it is. Texas is one of the bluest of blue bloods in college baseball, and this is a destination job, and he took his opportunity, and good for him.
Yeah, we did find out that Jay Hartzell apparently loves Cedric Golden columns because you got mentioned a couple times during Jay's comment. We do know Station has one reader, and he's the university president, so we'll take that. But
Hopefully, print.
yeah, well, print's a little bit more expensive than our digital deal, so we hope he has a print subscription. But the way Jim left Texas A&M was not ideal. I don't think I think even if you're a Texas fan, and you kind of look at it aside from laughing at the Aggies, I don't think you can say that was handled well. Even going back to Monday and his comments after the post-game press conference where he kind of got snippy as being kind with a Texas A&M reporter. I thought it was kind of juvenile the way that Jim acted on that stage, and then kind of just sneaking off, not really getting a chance to address his players. I think one of his players came out and said that he found out about Jim leaving on Twitter, which is never an ideal situation.
That's not good.
But going to this press conference, a lot of our friends from College Station made the 2-hour trip up here to Austin for this press conference. And so you're kind of wondering how exactly that would be handled, how, Jim would interact with them and how they would interact with, Jim. Is a little bit more, I guess, fiery than normal introductory press conference, but I thought both sides, everyone was really civil, and Jim had a chance to address some of those questions and, try to be complimentary towards A&M and thankful for his time in College Station, what they accomplished in his 3 years there. He did apologize to Richard Zane, who was the Texas reporter, who he kind of went off on Monday, which was something he needed to do. And kind of apologize to his players for not being able to kind of pull them together and say formally that he's leaving. But the point was also made that there wasn't really a good way to leave Texas A&M. There's probably some things he could have done better in how he handled it, but there was never a perfect way to leave A&M for your rival. Regardless of he could have held a huge press conference and thanked everyone by name and kissed babies and signed every autograph in the thing. But as soon as he said he was leaving for Texas, there are going to be a lot of people there in College Station who are really upset. It'd be the exact same if he's leaving Texas for Texas A&M. If he's leaving for another job at Vanderbilt or Tennessee or something like that,
who cares?
There'll be a couple upset people, but I'm sure a lot of people will pat him on the back and thank him for his service. But leaving for Texas was not going to be an easy exit, and so there are going to be some feelings hurt, and that's understandable. But I think today gave Jim a chance with the College Station media in attendance, which was helpful to kind of thank the Aggies and apologize for maybe some of this stuff, how he handled some things over the last couple of days, and hopefully it's not going to be forgiven the next time he shows up in town, but hopefully, in time, everyone can kind of look at this 2024 season where they got so close to a championship and kind of be happy about what everyone accomplished this year. And who knows when every Texas A&M player who appears to be transferring, maybe some of them end up in Texas and there's a reunion.
Maybe,
but we'll see how that is down the line. But that was one thing I stood out, was just kind of seeing all our friends from College Station crammed into that room. There's a lot more people in that room today than I'm used to seeing in the press box over at Dish Falk. So it was I only got one question in today. I'm used to getting like 4 or 5 because I'm the only one asking questions at post game pressers. But that was one thing that definitely stuck out to me. But you mentioned CDC. We've known we've known Chris to be someone who goes out and gets the biggest fish he can. Steve Sarkisian hire was probably the exception to that rule. because Steve was an assistant at Alabama. Obviously had a decorated, resume with what he did as their offensive coordinator and had previous head coaching experience. But you think of Vic Schaefer, you think of Mike White, you even think of recent hires like Laura Ianello from Arizona Women's Golf, or Bob Bowman from Arizona State, to take over for the legendary Eddie Reese. That's not a job I'd want to do following that legend. But Chris goes big or he goes home, and this is another example of that. What is your impressions just what Chris has been able to do as the AD at Texas, and just how he's able to convince I'm sure the pocketbook helps. We haven't seen the Schlossnagle deal yet, but I'm sure their ability to pay helps. But why do you think he's able to get these big fishes to come here and coach at Texas?
Because he can sell ice cubes to an Eskimo. He is a Don. He knows what he's doing. He has a vision. He has a plan. He enacts those plans, and the most important part is he has the unwavering support of the men that are above him in the hierarchy. That is Kevin Eltife and Jay Hartzell. This thing is aligned at the hip. He is navigated this NIL thing expertly. He is added to the game day experience in football, and this thing is always going to be about football, Daniel, because that pays the bills. He has expertly navigated that. I know Pitbull's coming, but the real Pitbull is running the athletic program. And I know that Schlossnagle was a bull tiptoeing out of a china shop, and the alarm went off, and you can't change how it went down. But I'm telling you, he has aligned quite possibly the most fearsome coaching roster from women to men, all from top to bottom. We didn't mention Edric Florial. I mean, winning from top to bottom in all of America. And all that's missing, Danny, is where's the football natty? Where's the baseball natty? Because those are two of the three biggest sports. Where's the basketball natty? He's got, remember in the golden era when I was a beat writer here, they won 2 baseball championships under Augie in 3 seasons, and they won a football championship under Mac and a Rose Bowl, 2 Rose Bowls under Mac. And they had 2 Final Four appearances in basketball in 03. Texas was running things back then with the big sports leading the way. Right now, the big sports are on the way. They're not leading yet, Danny, but that's his vision. That's what he wants. He wants one day for football, basketball, and baseball to be at the forefront of this Texas renaissance in sports.
There's definitely something to keep an eye on as we head into the future with this program, but we got to get out of here. I know you have a couple more radio interviews to talk about this Texas baseball program. Statesman.com, there's a lot of content about these last couple of days. I would say I need to take a vacation, but apparently Texas is making an official move to the SEC in a couple of days. So I don't think I'm going to be getting a break anytime soon. But obviously, the baseball team has been in the spotlight this past couple of days. Jim Schlossnagle, he's the new head coach. He's bringing all his assistants with him. We're going to have to cover the transfer portal and see who's leaving Texas, who's coming in, kind of the impact of that move in that aspect too. But if you're a baseball fan, there's going to be lots of stuff going on in the next few days. So check out statesman.com for all of that. Check out statesman.com for the SEC move. I know you're working on a column for Sunday, so check that out. And SEC Media Days is just around the corner too. So we're going to be very busy. We thank you all for tuning into this. We thank you all for reading us over the next couple of weeks, and we'll be around. And yeah, big day for your Texas baseball fan, and we'll see y'all down the road. Bye.
See ya.